Daniel Negreanu opens the action with ace-queen, one of those classic Broadway hands that works beautifully as a raise.
Come on, Daniel, every hand?
Yes, every hand.
Jeez.
Every hand till Saturday.
Saturday, he gets his highlights touched up.
But when Barbero calls with pocket deuces, he is entering the hand with a completely different script. Small pairs are not strong in isolation.
Got Kenny.
Asham and Kenny call.
Here we go.
Got some of that loose cannon money.
For Negreanu, this looks like a board he can lean on. The paired deuce means there are fewer combinations of trips available, and with his pre-flop raise, he can credibly represent all the strong aces and overpairs. So he fires $3,000, aiming to pick up the pot uncontested or extract value from pairs below the ace. Barbero, though, is sitting on quads. If he raises here, he narrows Negreanu's range immediately to hands that can continue, and with quads, that is the last thing he wants. By just calling, he lets Negreanu's entire bluffing range stay alive, setting a trap that is as much psychological as mathematical. The turn brings the ace. This is where the hand shifts. For Negreanu, the ace is one of the best cards in the deck. His hand improves to top pair, top kicker, and it strengthens the story he's been telling since pre-flop. But this same card is a gift to Barbero. Now Negreanu is less likely to slow down, more likely to stack off, and completely unaware he is drawing dead. Negreanu checks, perhaps to control the size of the pot, but Barbero is not letting this street pass by. He bets $9,200. A number that looks perfectly believable as a value bet with a medium ace or even a stubborn pocket pair. Negreanu calls, convinced he is still far ahead of the likely range. Negreanu checks again, expecting Barbero to take a stab. Barbero obliges with $20,000, a sizing that pressures Negreanu's entire calling range but still looks callable with top pair. From Negreanu's seat, folding feels impossible.
I'm thinking like sixes or sevens. Sixes or sevens are good for me. I had you on ace-4, unfortunately, on the turn. So if you had ace-4, then you just made a straight. Huh.
Drop the stakes you play at in the comments and whether you're an online grinder or live game player. Let's see if we're running with high rollers or micro warriors.
God, I don't like that river. Such a good river for you. If you put me on jacks, right? You figure I have jacks, you have to bet that river card now. So many, I leveled myself with the pause in the turn. You know what I mean? On the turn, I studied, and like sort of changed my range in his eyes, which forces me to go like that.
Daniel calls.
I had the nuts.
Oh, that's good too. Quads!
Tom Dwan looks down at pocket sevens on the button. Peter 3-bets to $7,200 from the small blind with ace-5 suited, the classic light squeeze that leans on his perceived range advantage and punishes wide opens. It folds out a chunk of Dwan's air while still having blockers and playability when called. Against Dwan, though, that kind of hand rarely wins the pot uncontested. Dwan calls for solid reasons. Pocket sevens have real showdown value, don't fear most flops, and crucially can cooler top pair ranges by upgrading to sets on ace-high or 10-high textures. Flatting also preserves position and a healthy SPR, letting him navigate post-flop without bloating the pot pre. The flop comes ace-7-10. Peter fires $5,500 into the pot. From his seat, this board is his. The 3-better owns more strong ace-X, and C-betting denies equity from backdoor suits and gutters like king-queen or queen-jack. Dwan isn't buying. With middle set, he turns that auto C-bet into a lever, bumping it to $16,000. The raise does 3 things. It taxes all Broadway draws immediately. It announces that Peter won't get to set the pace for cheap, and it starts building a pot that can comfortably play for stacks by the river. Peter calls, consistent with top pair, decent kicker hands, some sticky queens and jacks with backdoors, and the occasional trap. He keeps his range wide enough to fight future streets while not clarifying where he's at. The turn is the queen, tightening ranges and connecting with Broadway draws. Peter now leads for $15,000, trying to seize the initiative back on a card that improves many of his semi-bluffs. This stab is less pure value and more about denying a free river to king-jack, queen-jack, and jack-9, while forcing Dwan to declare strength or fold middling hands. The lead also subtly caps him. When the small blind block bets on this texture, he's less likely to hold sets that slow played the flop and more likely on one pair, ace-x or a queen, that picked up equity. Tom Dwan doesn't hesitate. He raises to $48,000, a size that polarizes his range and puts every draw in the vice. It punishes the block bet, prices out those 12 to 15 outer combos, and reclaims initiative so he dictates the river. Just as important, the raise calibrates the stacks. After this, the remaining SPR is low enough that any blank lets him jam cleanly, while even scary rivers have already been charged a premium.
Wow, all in. And a snap call. $262,000 pot. Peter is drawing dead. Tom makes a full house on the river.
Phil Ivey kicks things off with Jack-10 offsuit.
Take a hand off, Phil. Nope.
He is last to act and completes, choosing position and pot control over isolation. We are about to see a flop with Ivey uncapped and in position, exactly where he is most dangerous. Artem checks the flop. That is standard into the pre-flop caller on a middling, draw-heavy texture. It keeps his range uncapped and lets Ivey define the pot. Ivey bets $40,000. With top pair and a decent kicker, he wants to tax the spade draws and gut shots like 7-8, 7-9, 8-9, and deny ace-x and queen-x a free card.
Phil is the best player. So if I play Phil, not look, it's not good. I think if I have a free card, Phil have two cards, it's same game.
The call also keeps Ivey's c-bet frequency high and disguises Artem's range, which can still include sets, two pair, and strong draws. Artem checks. This is a strong check with newly improved equity. His hand picks up a pair plus an open-ended straight draw, and checking preserves the option to continue versus multiple bet sizes. Ivey bets $100,000. The card connects hard with the flop draw matrix, so this is a pressure value bet. He targets spades, one pair sixes and fives, and sticky straight draws. He also denies equity from overcards that could river him. Artem calls. Now pair plus open-ender is far too strong to fold, and raising would polarize him into bluffs or monsters while letting Ivey 3-bet shove. By calling, he realizes the river and keeps Ivey's range wide. Artem leads $119,000. The straight completes for him, and this sizing is clever. Into a large pot, it looks blockish, inviting a hero call from exactly the type of hand Ivey has, while still extracting when Ivey shows up with two pair or a stubborn ace-x that's slow played.
Now Phil's in the same spot he put Vanessa in on the first hand. He's getting value bet in a spot where bluffing is more expected than a tip in an American bar. Phil calls.
Keating is looking down on King-10 offsuit. Cho opens to $800. From Keating's seat, King-10 offsuit in position is a fine candidate to test initiative, so he clicks it up to $2,900. That size pressures her weaker opens, defines ranges, and sets the tone that he'll steer. Cho calls, which Keating most likely files as sticky and curious, not the fast fold he gets from air, nor the fast 4-bet he expects from premiums. Cho checks. Keating clocks it as standard on a paired ace texture. Out-of-position players rarely lead here without a plan. Keating checks back. With range disadvantage on the paired ace board, c-betting prints only versus folds and inflates pots against the parts of her range that won't. Cho checks again. 2 checks from her narrow things, far fewer nutty ace traps now, more medium pairs, and a bunch of club draws that didn't want to bet into his perceived ace density. Keating checks again. He could stab for protection, but the board still screams, "My ace, my pot," for the preflop caller. He prefers to keep her air and marginal pairs intact and let the river card choose the script. Cho leads $5,500. From Keating's chair, that river is wild. It completes Broadway and the backdoor clubs. He now has the straight and, critically, the king of clubs blocker. Versus a line that checked twice, he upgrades to a value raise, making it $22,000 to target one pair queens and jacks and to punish delayed bluffs, while also representing the nut structures he can hold. Cho responds with a 3-bet to $65,200. That sizing flips the polarity to the top. Flushes are plentiful with 3 clubs on board, and full houses loom large on a double ace texture, pocket 7s, jacks and queens, and every ace-x that's slow played. Even with the king of clubs reducing her nut flush combos. The remaining flushes plus boats far outweigh the bluff she arrives with after 2 street checks and a river bet back.
Another bluff?
Oh, there's that too. Arden's now got a rep. Maybe it'll get her paid.
You're an Alan Keating seat. You have the Broadway straight, Cho 3 bets over your small lead. What's your move? Snap call or an impossible fold? And why in one sentence? Best clear answer gets pinned.
Well, that kind of laughing is usually pretty strong.
Wow.
Looks like he's folding.
Good fold, good fold, good fold.
Doug Polk is looking down at pocket aces, but he's up against LSG Hank, who's raised to $6,000 with ace-jack suited. From the small blind, players are often expected to 3-bet to protect their position. That dynamic makes Polk's aces even more dangerous because they don't look as strong as they are. That kind of 3-bet sizing almost looks like he's trying to scare Hank off the hand rather than invite action. But that's exactly the beauty of it. Polk wants to trick Hank into thinking it's just an attempt to steal the pot, when really Doug is just setting the trap. The suited ace and being in position here gives Hank just enough to justify seeing a flop. This is about as good a flop as Polk could hope for. In a 3-bet pot like this, Hank's range is weighted towards suited broadways and pocket pairs. That means the only real hand Polk has to worry about is pocket queens. Against everything else, his aces are still miles ahead. Polk makes a value bet of around 1/3 of the pot, just small enough to make sure Hank calls even with hands that completely miss the flop.
And he now has the nut flush draw. 111,000 in the middle. Guess how much Doug will bet. It's like a little poker test. See how close you are.
Doug Polk is feeling pretty comfortable with this card on the turn. With the way they played pre-flop, there's no way Hank has 2 pair or a set smaller than queens. I think Doug should bet small again.
81. All right.
I'm telling him he should be using big antes online.
Hank puts in the call. He needs a diamond. Instead, it's the 9 of hearts.
The river changes absolutely nothing here. Do you think Polk should check and just call if Hank bets? Or should he bet here and risk getting raised? Let me know down in the comments.
200,000. Beautiful poker.
All in.
All in.
All in, says Hank.
Spade, I fold. Heart, we do it again.
This is amazing.
Fold.
Show him.
Britney is looking down at 8-6 offsuit. She and these 7 bad boys have all limped pre-flop. The flop comes 6-3-8 rainbow. And just like that, Britney's 8-6 off turns into a sleeper hit. 2 pair on a board that's dry but sneaky. With all these limpers, someone could easily be chasing a straight. Peter leads out for $500 with top pair top kicker, but Britney bumps it to $2,200 with top 2 pair. And suddenly, this hand goes from a stroll to a sprint. Dr. H says no more discounts and ships it for his all-in, which is just $3,700. With just middle pair and backdoor draws in an 8-way pot, it's a very bold move, especially into a raise and a bet. Kind of feels like a tilt play, to be honest.
Please call. All right, I take it back. Now you can raise. You could not raise. Just barely.
No one raises to Dr. H's all-in, which suggests everyone is sitting on some kind of draw. The 8 of spades hits the turn, and suddenly, this table turns into a minefield. Britney's rocking the full house, 8s over 6s. But Mike X just quietly leveled up with 3s full of 8s. 2 full houses on the same board, and neither one knows they're in a slow-motion car crash.
River will be an 8.
Peter checks, probably thinking he's still ahead with trip 8s. But what he doesn't know is that he's not just behind. He's in 3rd place on his own highlight reel. Everyone looks relaxed on the outside, but this turn card just started a quiet war. Mike X checks and attempts to slow play a full house, not knowing the innocent girl next to him is holding a stronger full house. She bets $5,000, hoping Peter and Mike X have exactly what they have. Peter just calls, taking his time and hoping to gather some extra clues from Mike X's next move. He's not ready to commit fully yet, but he's definitely keeping his eyes peeled. Mike X is counting his chips, calculating the value of that full house. Then, with a deep breath, he raises to $15,000, thinking it's a value bet. But Britney isn't backing down. In an instant, she fires back with an all-in for $25,000. Peter takes a long pause. After about 3 minutes of intense thought, he finally folds his trip eights, recognizing that his hand just isn't good enough. It's a tough fold, but it is the right one. Mike X calls and Britney quickly flips over her cards, showing him the nasty cooler. Now, it's all up to the river.
Twice we've seen people go broke in limp pots.